Okay. Welcome everyone to the 2020 APEC Groundbreakers Virtual Tour by APEC Oracle Users Community. This year, our event would be the biggest one ever done with 174 sessions, including normal sessions, workshops, and hands-on labs from 123 different speakers over 11 days. Also, it would cover sessions on 4 different languages. Please remember to register to as many sessions as you can, and all sessions will be available to replay as many times you want for 2 weeks after the initial session day and time. You can also interact with the speaker at any time during that 2 weeks by posting questions or comments directly in the playback session page. I would like to say thanks to all our Oracle users groups and Java user groups that made this event possible, and to our sponsors, Oracle Groundbreakers and CloudDB. Now for today's session, efficient troubleshooting and rapid root cause analysis using machine learning by Gagan Chawla. Please feel free to write questions at any time during the session at the Q&A tab of the Zoom webinar, and the speaker would be answering them at the end of the session. If any issues during the presentations, please feel free to contact me at any time on the chat tab of the Zoom webinar. Now, without any more delays, I would like to leave you with this amazing session by Gagan Chawla. So, Gagan Chawla, please.
Thank you.
I'll stop sharing.
Yeah, I'll share my screen. Yeah.
Okay, I'll mute.
Okay, can you just confirm if you're able to see my slide?
Yes, I can see the slides.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining. Yeah, and before we get started, thanks to the organizers of the event. And I know it's tough to set up such event, and this has been like a 2-week event. So. I know there's a lot of hard work and effort and coordination involved in putting up this event together. So thanks to the organizers, Francisco team, and entire user group community in APAC. So let's get started with today's topic. And what I'll be covering today is something very new. This kind of we released some new capabilities just actually earlier in October, like beginning of October, part of our Oracle Live event. So the things that I'll go through, in today's talk will be I'll first give a high-level view of and the bigger picture of the platform that we introduced recently, and then get into details around today's main theme of the session is around the logging analytics and how to leverage logging analytics. And we'll then see a quick demonstration, and then I'll also share some tips and best practices how to get started. There is not a lot of information out there, because this is like kind of we are in the second or third week of going live with these services. But feel free to reach out and share your queries part of this session or later. I think it's the questions will also be available for 2 weeks, and even after that you can contact me anytime offline. Feel free to reach out if there is anything that I can be of help. So so these are the main items that we'll go through. So let's drill into more detail. So I just wanted to first give the context of what we are talking about in today's session. So like This is all about enterprise grade observability and management. And enterprise grade monitoring management challenge. There are 5 aspects to it. It's a multi-dimensional problem, and the adoption of cloud actually in recent years has only added to the complexity. Application stack is heterogeneous. There are mix of modern cloud native apps and traditional 3-tier apps, and finding expertise in instrumenting and diagnosing issues with such mixed technologies is not easy task, right? And there are a lot of pure play point solutions which provide isolated views and lack visibility actually across the entire stack. And it's not unusual for enterprises to have separate tools for monitoring app tier and infrastructure tier. So this makes the problem troubleshooting and triaging difficult, as users have to rely on many different tools to identify wherein the stack the problem is, and then start the diagnostics and remediation process. So the point solutions also result in data silos, right, and complicating further problem analysis. And logs and metrics data are typically siloed, right, and so there are separate tools and analytic skill sets utilized for them. But data from app and infrastructure tier also have their own silos. So this is like, with all these silos of data, it makes really problem detection and resolution, slow and difficult process. So most enterprises also, they have a mix of on-premises and cloud deployments, and they frequently have separate processes with different teams, one for on-premise operations and another for cloud operations. So this really makes the job even harder in terms of monitoring and management. And finally, the like lack of interoperability, right, between tools. Tools don't talk to each other, and there is high integration cost involved, which is like definitely it's expensive and time consuming. So what if we break down the data silos? We need to really do better, right? And we can do better. What if we broke down the data silos between different types of telemetry and provide full stack visibility rather than just tier specific tools? What if we support all the technologies in your estate, whether they are brand new, born on the cloud, or legacy? And also, what if like we allow one team to seamlessly manage across entire fleet, both cloud and on-premise applications? And very importantly, what if we provide interoperability with other tools and ability to talk to each other, and as a design principle, not rather than as a bolt-on? So wouldn't that be better? So just to give a context, of Oracle in this space, we definitely have some advantages, right, when it comes to enterprise grade observability and management. First is, Oracle has an extensive hands-on experience in DevOps for modern enterprise apps that's cloud scale. Oracle operates like software industry's largest SaaS portfolio of enterprise applications. And we really have deep appreciation of all the observability and management challenges, that we highlighted earlier, like the 5 key challenges, because we have dealt with them for many years, right, and actually decades. Another fact to consider is that Oracle is a leading provider of the entire stack. So we understand the overall stack much better, right? So we have deep knowledge of every layer of the software stack and know exactly what it takes to instrument, troubleshoot, and optimize. This really gives us an unique advantage in observability and management space, right? And also, we have deep experiences in, and know the best practices in both on-premises and cloud, right? So we have both the native cloud services as well as on-premise enterprise applications, and we understand not just the difference in the delivery models for cloud and on-premises, but also understand how to provide seamless management that spans cloud, SaaS, and on-premise deployments. Cloud native providers and the enterprise providers, have little experience when it comes to like about management of the other space. So also we are a leader in data management. So we manage the most important and largest data sets of enterprises. So this gives us a unique opportunity, to address the challenges in enterprise grade observability and management space. So what we announced a few weeks ago, this was like October 6th, I think. We part of an Oracle Live event. We announced a brand new cloud platform in OCI to address exactly these challenges in enterprise grade observability and management space. So just to give a context, and the bigger picture of the overall story around observability and management from Oracle. What we announced in beginning of October is 6 new cloud services in OCI and part of an observability and management platform. These services provide complete visibility and deep insights into the entire range of operational telemetry. That's really important. So this covers the entire span of the telemetry. And one more very important aspect is these services can be used to monitor and manage any technology anywhere, on premises, cloud, or on third-party clouds. So the 6 services that we announced were logging analytics, application performance monitoring, database management, operations insights, and service connector hub. For those of you, you who have used Oracle Management Cloud. Right? So we have also have Oracle Management Cloud, and now we announced observability and management. The key difference between what we have part of Oracle Management Cloud, that's also by the way from our group. It's these services, the brand new services are part of OCI, and these are native OCI services, whereas Oracle Management Cloud, or we call it kind of a genuine OMC, uh, is more of like a built on top of OCI. So it's not natively integrated part of OCI. There also we have log analytics, APM, and IT analytics, infrastructure monitoring, but those are like kind of as a standalone product. If you see OMC or Oracle Management Cloud, or if you're already using Oracle Management Cloud, it's great as a standalone product. But part of this platform, our idea was to to have native OCI services, so that we are also able to leverage all the key capabilities of OCI, and this is more of as a Gen 2 services from on part of OCI. So the key aspect here, right? There are like 6 new services, and there are existing OCI services that address monitoring, notifications, events, function streaming, and OS management use cases. Just give me a second. I think I lost the video. Just can the host confirm if you're able to hear me and see the slides?
I can see the slides, but I did not see. You want to start the video?
Okay, yeah, just give me a second.
I did not see the video.
Just let me share again. Just give me a second. Okay, can you confirm if you're able to see the slide and the video?
No, I only see the slides. No, I did not see the video. It's only slides.
Okay, so I think we should continue. Yeah. So sorry about that. I think there was a storm last night, so I think I'm kind of losing network here. So okay, so there are like existing services here. The slides are coming fine, right? Just to confirm.
Yes, the slides are okay.
Okay. So we'll continue. Yeah. So there are a set of existing services, and now we have new services, right? So the new services are meant to provide deep visibility and advanced analytics, right? And uh, part of this talk, our focus will be around two services: logging and logging analytics, especially logging analytics. Logging analytics is your data scientist when it comes to logs. So but this was the bigger picture, and this is like a brand new set of services, so I would highly recommend to learn more, and I'll also share the resources at the end of the session, where you can learn more, and also we can as well interact later on this topic. So let's see, like logging and logging service, right? So when running your workloads in the cloud, you will have logs generated from every point in the stack, right? So infrastructure, database, audit, application, and logging service actually offers you a centralized experience to bring all of these logs in one view. It is natively integrated with your OCI services for a seamless one-click experience to turn on logs. It gives you ability to manage and secure logs to ensure only authorized users have access to your sensitive data. And with all of your logs in one single view, right? So you're able to easily view and correlate logs across your entire stack. Logging is built on cloud native open standards. That's very important. Our log ingestion experience is powered by Fluentd, allowing you to leverage community open source plugins. And every single log event ingested into the system is automatically normalized to CNCF, Cloud Events 1.0, allowing to easily interrupt with the rest of the cloud native ecosystem. Logging also allows you to make every log line actionable in real time by integrating with Service Connector Hub. With this integration, you can easily push your logs to third-party destinations or take action on them with service connectors. Finally, all this is like at a industry-leading pricing, so it's you can start leveraging. And this is live and already available in all the OCI regions. And coming to log analytics, right? So uh, when it's time for advanced analysis, you can escalate to logging analytics service, which is logging analytics is your data scientist buddy in this case. So it's not that this service will address all your data science needs when it comes to logs, but this is more of help you get started, and you can leverage machine learning powered insights such as cluster, link, correlate, and more, and enable quick diagnostics without the need of really data scientist involvement. And logging analytics makes it easy to unlock the value of your log data. And with powerful visualizations, you'll be able to quickly find a needle in the haystack among millions of rows of logs. You'll be able to instantly answer questions such as, is it normal? What's the pattern? You know, and for more sophisticated users, right, it provides a powerful query language. So apart from the visualization, you can also have your own queries on the logs, and have your own visualization based on those queries. And we have made the work easy for you with hundreds of out-of-box parsers for a wide variety of Oracle and non-Oracle technologies, and both commercial and open source. Logging analytics also provide out-of-box error classification, interpretation of your Oracle logs. So that is like out of box. And with complete control over data archive and recall, you can meet your compliance and retention requirements at the minimum cost. So this is also live. Actually, logging analytics went live in all OCI regions and Asia Pacific just last week. And also, this is like, I think the timing wise, it's good to share this part of this event. So this is like brand new, and if you go to OCI and under monitoring and uh, diagnostics, you will see logging analytics, and there'll be like the other logging analytics, both are live. And the other services which we announced are some of them are in limited availability. APM, application performance monitoring, which is supposed to go live later this year. So there are three aspects to logging analytics, right? So the most important is the machine learning, right? So clustering uses machine learning to identify pattern of log records, and then to group the logs that have a similar pattern. Clustering helps significantly reduce the total log entries that you have to explore, right? And point out outliers. There is a feature part of clustering which I would highly recommend. Cluster compare. I've seen a lot of users use this. Cluster compare actually, some of the scenarios, right, that you can use it for, like which clusters are different this week compared to last week. When you have to compare between things that were working well, and then what changed, the last month or the month end or the quarter end or the year end, what's changed, compared to the other time. So you can do cluster compare and identify new issues or issues specific to and it really helps to reduce the results by eliminating common or duplicate clusters and identify what's changed actually, what's kind of how do you compare between the normal baseline, and when things start going wrong. It's a very powerful capability. And one step further, right, if you want to do advanced analysis of log records, you can use link capability. Link actually lets you perform advanced analysis of log records by combining individual log records from across log sources into groups based on the fields that you have selected for linking. Link can be used for a variety of use cases, right? So this logging analytics is supposed to be more of like an operations, for efficient troubleshooting, rapid root cause analysis, and more of the operation use cases. But link part of log analytics is kind of I've also seen users leverage it for business transactions, and analysts actually using this feature to synthesize business transactions, and also it can quickly identify anomalous behavior, like business transactions that are taking unusually long time, or user sessions that are downloading large amount of data than normal, kind of. But link is something, when you have deep understanding of the log sources and the fields, then this is really a very powerful capability. But it's like more of like a very advanced level of analysis. So one of the key advantage, right, we have when it comes to logging analytics is, compared to Oracle Management Cloud, which we had or which we have, like as a Gen 1 service, is if you're a OCI user, right, if you use any of the OCI services, it's really easy to get started with logging analytics. Actually, within few minutes, you'll be able to get started if you're familiar with the core OCI concepts. So one best practice is to have understanding of OCI core concepts before starting with logging analytics. So it's easy to deploy, configure, expand, and manage. And it actually integrates well with the rest of the OCI services. And yeah, so the one aspect I want to highlight here, the data archive and recall. This is something which is still, kind of, we are about to release that capability, but this is there in the existing Oracle Management Cloud platform, but it's still to be released for the logging analytics. So that's something still work in progress. And logging analytics comes with out-of-box support for Oracle applications and stack, and embedded knowledge base. It supports various Oracle technologies and products. It's completely heterogeneous. So, and I've seen users build parsers on own, and those, a lot of those parsers actually which came from the community are now part of this service. And there are 250 plus out of box parsers. It's almost kind of daily being enhanced, and but this is like out of box. You can easily build your own parsers, and which are not included, and um, using JSON and XML regex, some techniques, so you can easily have your own parsers as well, apart from what we have out of box. So who are the personas, right, who are most likely to benefit? DevOps, ITOps, DBAs, app admins. There are two important differentiators, right? Or like, I would say, key takeaways, right? Post this session, if I have to recommend something for you to explore, or is clustering and link. So cluster and link are kind of key features, and there's something like which you can easily use, and you don't need a data scientist to understand this, so you can easily use this features. Like if you have good understanding of the logs, what are being ingested, and understand the fields, and how you want to leverage this, then cluster and link is really not even for not just for efficient troubleshooting and rapid root cause analysis, but for a lot of other use cases. You can leverage these machine learning capabilities, especially like cluster and link. And part of cluster, actually, cluster compare is there, and then not to confuse you more, but link and cluster can also be used together for for advanced analytics. So the if you're already a user of Oracle Management Cloud, and getting started with OCI logging analytics, one thing to remember is, like the core concepts are what you would use in OCI. Like, so I would suggest to, have an understanding of the core OCI concept. So if you know the core OCI concepts around compartments, tenancy, and policies, and uh, it's then very easy to get started with logging analytics. And log groups is a more of a logical model used to groups, and a log group must be in a compartment, but the same log group can exist in multiple compartments as well. And there are entities and metadata management. So entity is more of like, if you want to understand, like, say, as in database, right? So if you define an entity and associate the log group, so we know, like, for a database where the logs are, and also it's like helps with the ingestion out of box, as well as for topology awareness, right? So uh, we can easily build topology if you have the entities defined. So this is just a view of log explorer. Like, there are three aspects here. Like, one is the field palette, the visualize palette. In the visualize, like, you can actually slice and dice the data, and then the actual visualization on the right side, and on the top we'll have the compartments. So everything is kind of in context of a compartment. And then you'll also, below the compartment, if you'll see the actual query, which is like, this will change as you use the fields and visualize palette, but you can actually have your own queries as well. So I'm seeing a lot of users use it on their own queries and stuff, relying on the out of box what we build from these selections. And this is an example of the dashboard. So we'll see in the demo as well. And there is an admin UI part of logging analytics, where you can define entities, log sources, parsers, and basically help with the configuration and to get started, and also manage logging analytics. So at this point, let me just play the demonstration. Just give me a second.
In this demonstration, we will show you the capabilities of our logging and logging analytics services. We'll begin at the enterprise dashboard. This is the custom dashboard that I've created, bringing together my most important applications, database servers, along with all its telemetry in one unified view. On the dashboard, we see an HTTP timeout in our eMedia application. Let's go see what's happening here. OCI makes it easy for me to generate alerts with direct integration with OCI monitoring and notifications. Clicking the alert lands me directly into the OCI logging search page, with all of my context pre-filled in for me to begin my investigation. Looking down below, I see the actual result that triggered my alarm. This specific log event corresponds to a failure in my application frontend. The specific error being shown is an HTTP 408 error. When I look at the log line, I can see the exact front-end host, request IP, the latency, and the detailed error message. When I ingest a log into OCI logging, my log is automatically parsed and made searchable, which is powered by a Fluentd agent where every event is normalized into the common CNCF cloud events format. So it looks like our application front-end server returned an error that says exceeded timeout threshold. This could be caused by a variety of different issues in my stack, for example, issues on the backend, or the load balancer, or the network. I want to trace down exactly where this request from this specific IP address went through my entire stack to see at what points things broke. So I'm simply going to take the IP address and paste it into my search box. I'm now able to see results from my entire stack as it relates to this IP address. I can now easily trace exactly what happened with this request. I see the request coming into the front-end machine receiving that request, and the load balancer doing the assignment of that request to one of our load-balanced infrastructure components. Then I see a variety of network traffic that looks a little bit unusual going through the application, and ultimately a backend timeout. OCI logging allows us to easily integrate and visualize hundreds of thousands of log lines with just a few clicks. I want to drill into what's going on in my VCN flow logs. When I click on the Visualize tab, I can now see the aggregated count of every single inbound and outbound request across my entire network. It looks like there is an abnormal amount of traffic happening here, so I need to understand a little more about what's going on in my OCI network. I'm going to escalate this question into OCI Logging Analytics. OCI Logging Analytics uses advanced visualizations and applied machine learning to find the needle in the haystack, even among very large amounts of log data. Right now, we are looking at all the VCN flow logs from our compartment, which is almost 1 million rows. If you look at a single entry from one of these logs, we can see that we've parsed and enriched the information from these logs, enabling us to do things like classify the action, which in this case was a packet reject. Why don't we see if packet rejection is part of a network problem? By dragging the action field into a group by window and resorting our chart, we see that vast majority of packets have been accepted, so packet rejection is not a networking problem. Let's explore a different question. Perhaps we have some unusual traffic coming from servers that are not normally part of our network traffic. Let's resort all of the log records to look at the IP addresses generating traffic. We see we have some noisy telemetry servers here, but those are not unusual, so that's clearly not our problem either. We can further get a quick view of the trends in traffic from our servers by simply looking at another visualization, and we don't see anything unusual in that trend charts either. Note that all of this analysis is happening automatically. We have many other out-of-the-box visualizations available, which we can put into a dashboard like this one. But let's get back to our troubleshooting scenario. We saw the problems were not packet rejection and were not unusual traffic from our public servers. So let's use some machine learning to search for one-time anomalies. Logging analytics ships with a variety of out-of-the-box machine learning algorithms that have been optimized for operational data. We are looking at the output of a link analysis, which automatically stitches together the data. This table shows a summary of network traffic from each source to each destination over a period of time. And you can even see the type of traffic that has been automatically inferred from the log data. Now we've still got 600,000 rows of logs, which is too much. So let's use some additional machine learning called clustering to identify the patterns of network traffic. This cluster chart shows trends in network activity over time from various sources to various destinations, with the size of bubble indicating the amount of data being transferred. I'm going to refactor the data by total bytes transferred and eliminate the small transfers. And what I will ultimately see is the needle in the haystack cause of our problem, which is a large data transfer from an MP4 file from a web server called Collab Server 1. We can then drill in and quickly see the exact 2 file transfers that caused the network problem. You'll notice that all of these complex queries are being created automatically, but of course, you could use our query language to write all this stuff manually if you choose. It's now clear that network contention caused what at first appeared to be a set of application errors. So what we have seen here is how logging and log analytics can help you quickly and easily aggregate and search logs and use machine learning and analytics capabilities to do problem diagnostics without requiring you to be a data scientist or even have deep domain knowledge about the logs you are analyzing.
Okay, so we saw a quick demo, and if you actually need more details around the demo, or if you want to see an actual hands-on environment, and if you're not able to get it on your own, just feel free to reach out, pose the session, and we can connect and I can help you get started. But just just some best practices or some tips on how to get started with logging analytics. So you need to define the IAM policies and the service level policy, compartment level policy, and the management agent. Management agent is needed for on-premise logs, and if you want to use logging analytics for OCR resources, you don't need actually to deploy a management agent. So that step is more of an optional for on-premise. And then log groups, which is more of a logical grouping of your logs in the compartment. And then the entities is more for giving the context and the for topology based awareness and out of box ingestion. And then the actual log analytics, log explorer and safe searches or dashboards and all the analytics capabilities. So there's a sample policy, but like I've shared the documentation link. There are three sets of policies, as I mentioned. Like one is a service level, this other is for a compartment. This is like here, just as an example, it's mentioned as tenancy to give a wider access, but this can be further narrowed down depending on your environment and your use case scenarios and whom you want to give access to at what level. So you can easily define policies accordingly. And then the management agent is more like specific to if you're sending logs from on-premise sources. So if you are sending logs from OCI resources, so there are two options. From OCI resource logs to object store, and then logging analytics can pick up logs from object store and or use OCI events and streaming services, right, to logging analytics. And the option two is the service connector hub. This is still kind of getting this. It's more of final stages. So it will have a service connector hub, which will be which will allow a kind of a seamless integration. So service connector hub is the other option for sending logs from OCR resources. So as you see, like there is no agent here involved. And just to kind of this is like on the final slide. So just if you have to compare between OCR logging and logging analytics. So logging analytics is more of your data scientist, right? And logging is kind of you get everything together in one single platform and for search and early analysis. And then if you want to do advanced machine learning use cases, then logging analytics. And it's you can consider more of like logging analytics as your data scientist buddy in this case. So with this, I just wanted to share the main resource. It's you can find all the information in oracle.com manageability, and this includes all the documentation links and all the latest resources. As I mentioned, this is something like which is released just a few weeks ago, and in fact went live in OCI regions in Asia Pacific, like just as of last week. So these are like brand new capabilities, and so you can explore and learn this oracle.com manageability. But feel free to reach out to me if, for any queries, and be happy to help. So with this, I conclude my talk, and I just wanted to convey like stay safe, take care of yourself and your family. Like I know these are tough times. In fact, I lost a loved one, like due to this pandemic. So it's really hard and tough. In fact, like 2 weeks before, I had sent a, I was thinking of canceling my talk. Like I'd send a note to Francisco, but glad I did it. But I just wanted to mention, stay safe and take good care of yourself and your family. With this, I conclude the talk. I'll hand it over back to the host. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Gagan. Thank you for your presentation. I think we don't have questions, so Okay, let me do the conclusion. Thank you everyone for your participation today, and please do not forget to register to other great sessions in the conference and to interact with the speakers in their playback session page. Please enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you. Take care, everyone.